Hey guys, welcome to another Recovery Sunday with Wellness for Jiu-Jitsu. I'm Submission Yogi. We do this every Sunday here on Wellness for Jiu-Jitsu's YouTube channels, Facebook, Twitter. Find us on the social media. This is donation-based yoga, so we rely on your support for our success and the growth of doing what we love, which is bringing a balance to the sport of jiu-jitsu, which requires recovery. So we focus on restoration style yoga every Sunday, and today I have a class for you that is very simple, very easy. It's for everyone. A lot of times I teach personally, and some of our other instructors, we teach for jiu-jitsu athletes, people who are more physically fit, aware of their bodies, able to do a little bit more than the average person. But today I'm going to bring it down a little bit of a level and make it more accessible to everyone. So I think every class that I teach is available to everyone if they can listen to their body. There's levels to every different position that we do. And if you listen to your body and find something that feels okay for you, we're exploring these places of sensation and trying to avoid stress, but exploring where our body can move into these positions. So today it should be nice and easy, starting in a seated position, perhaps cross-legged like I'm seating. This is one spot today. We're going to spend about 5 minutes here. So if you have hip problems and it's more comfortable for you to prop your hips up a little bit, it can be a nice way to sit more comfortably like this. Maybe fold up a nice thick blanket and just give yourself a little bit of a lift in the hips. That can be more comfortable. One other option is to sit on your knees in this kneeling passing position, sitting on your heels. So these beginning movements are going to be available in both of those positions. So again, listening to your body, I'm giving you options and suggestions, but this is your practice. So let's have some fun and sit, get as comfortable as possible, move around a little bit until you feel like you can settle down, you can close your eyes, and then begin to be aware of your breathing. Check in to the inside of your body with your mind's eye. See how you are breathing. See if you can observe your breathing, maybe without changing it. It's quite hard to do because once you are aware of your breathing, you realize that it's a subconscious movement that you are also conscious of and can control. So as we try to be aware and observe our breath, we can also move towards improving our breath, which typically means to deepen the breath, increasing the volume with each inhale and exhale. Also, we tend to breathe in our chest more than in our belly, where our belly has a lot more space for our diaphragm to pull down and fill with oxygenated air. So I invite you to see if you can feel your belly and your chest moving with each breath, maybe even making some contact with your hands on your chest and belly. Keep breathing. Feel a little bit more on the inhale. Don't need to force on the exhale, just try to relax. Another thing that we want to be aware of is our posture in this position as we're breathing, that we're not slouching forward. We're sitting up nice and straight, balancing on the sit bones. Maybe even noticing our spine growing a little bit taller on the inhale. No stress, feeling good here. Nice big deep breaths. If you feel like it, changing the cross of your legs, or maybe moving into that kneeling position. Two more big deep breaths, enjoy them. And then beginning to move our spine with some extension and flexion. thinking about the center of our chest, our solar plexus, the middle of the spine is going to move backwards and forwards. So start small, move with your breath, inhaling as you come forward, exhaling as you come back. Your hands can be somewhere comfortable on your knees, or maybe even on the floor. And then begin to bring that flexion and extension into the shoulders and the head, following the movement, looking up, chest forward on the inhale, rounding the spine, dropping the head on the exhale. One more level. Optional is to bring the arms forward, pressing your hands away from you on the exhale. And then on the inhale, arms go behind you, maybe to the mat, as you open your shoulders, open your chest, looking up. Big inhale, exhale, and round. Play around with this, make it feel good. Big slow breaths, big slow movements. What is your body telling you? Next, we're going to move into some lateral flexion. So return back to a center, take a deep breath, sit up nice and straight, and then we're going to lean from side to side, keeping our spine straight on that vertical plane as your head and shoulders tip. Starting nice and gentle, slightly side to side. And if it feels good, increasing that range of motion, maybe a hand to the mat as you lean to that side, maybe a hand up in the air, reaching to the side. Move with your breath, inhaling up, exhaling to the other side. Nice job, guys. Enjoy one more, side to side. Collect yourself again in the middle, and we'll do a little twist. Make those adjustments if you're feeling any sensation. We're trying to avoid the stinging, numbness and tingling. That's okay. We can work our way through that. Pinching, stinging, let's avoid that. Listen to your body, make those adjustments, and we'll twist from side to side. Once again, starting slow. Feel that twist beginning at the bottom of the spine, the base of the spine, and slowly moving up, maybe all the way to the head, using your hands for a little bit of support, perhaps a little bit of torsion to increase the twist, and find your breath. Inhaling to center, exhaling as you twist. Feel free to hold one of the twists if it feels good, or keep moving. Really nice job, guys. Moving nice and slow. Finish your last one or two, and then we're going to move into a tabletop position. So coming onto your hands and knees. Find that nice base where your hands are below your shoulders. Your fingers are spread nice and wide. Make your hands as big as possible. Press the whole hand into the mat so you're not lifting the palms. That palm is nice and flat. The knees are directly underneath the hips. you feel stable and solid here so that you can begin to move a little bit side to side, forward and back, thinking about the hips and shoulders, but also feeling the wrists get a nice little stretch as we begin to move. We're not bending or arching the spine yet, just moving around the knees, wrists, hips, and shoulders. Maybe the neck joins the movement a little bit. And then let's bring that movement into the spine. Wagging your tail a little bit side to side, some lateral flexion in the lower back. Join it with some shoulders side to side. And then the extension and flexion movement, cat-cow, the belly and solar plexus lift as the head and shoulders drop. And then the belly drops and the head lifts. Think about your tailbone tucking as you lift your middle back like a cat scared on a fence. And then belly drops, tailbone extends, head looks up. Really nice. Keep moving here, listen to your body, breathe. Move in whatever way feels good. Maybe you do a hula hooping type motion. If your wrists or hands are burning, you can always sit back, shake them out. We don't need to make this too hard on ourselves. Just find this experience with your body and your breath. Create connections and relationships between the movement, sensation, in a way that feels good. Nice job. Let's do one more forearm stretch that I really like, turning the hands to face backwards. If this is really intense, turn them to face out. Again, you can lean back if we're feeling too much pressure in the shoulders or in the legs, but turning our fingers to point backwards, wherever feels nice for you, and then sink down and stretch your forearms. Breathe and relax. Really nice job. Shake it out. And we'll lower ourselves down to our forearms and walk forward until our hips come all the way down to the mat, looking for a gentle back bend here. This is a counter pose for life. We tend to hunch forward in jiu-jitsu especially, but any of us who sit at a computer, drive a vehicle, or we're just on our phones in a shoulders hunched forward, head dropped position. Here we're counterbalancing that. So we want to pull the shoulder blades back and down, almost like you're squeezing your scapulas together. And that connection feeds into the mat. You find some traction and a little pull forward of your chest. Nothing too extreme here. If this is creating any of those pinching sensations, bring your head a little bit lower, an option to make fists and stack them on top of each other and rest your forehead here, still being aware that the shoulders aren't punching up or forward, they're pulling down and back. Another fun option here to bring a little more sensation into the low back is to bend the knees. Also can feel good to roll up the wrists, maybe ankles, Maybe even your neck can find some gentle movement here, side to side. We'll do a good 5 more breaths here in this gentle back bend. Explore some movement, little adjustments, maybe some stillness. Check in one more time with your shoulders and your neck. Open your chest. Press your legs into the mat. One last breath in this position. And then we push back into a child's pose. So the knees go a little bit wider, not too wide, maybe towards the edge of your mat if you're on a yoga mat. And then we walk our hips backwards. The big toes come closer together, maybe touching, nice and easy, sinking the hips back onto the heels. Maybe they make a connection. If not, that's okay. Find something where you feel stable in your hips, and then you can walk your head. Just let your head fall to the mat. Ideally, a little bit of sensation in the legs and the hips, and a relaxing sensation in the spine. The shoulders can find a stretch by walking the hands forward. I would suggest not walking the hands too far forward so your hips begin to lift. Keep that hip connection or the heavy feeling of your hips so that your lower back can relax, and then move that lengthening, relaxing sensation up into your shoulders, middle back, upper back, heavy head. If it's not comfortable for you, this is the time to make some adjustments with your knees, your feet, your hands, your head. Explore this position, or if you're familiar with it and you feel good, focus on your breathing. Use each inhalation to feel expansion, feel the oxygen coming into your body, and each exhalation to feel heavier and relax, muscles disengaging. Find those areas of tension, make them melt with your breath. Maybe you have some tension in your face. Try to relax the area around the eyeballs, cheeks, mouth. And then that relaxation in the face can spread down the neck, into the shoulders, through the arms, through the back. Maybe even your hips can find a little bit of softness. Keep taking those big, full breaths, filling the belly, filling the chest, oxygenating the bloodstream and the tissues, allowing our body to heal itself with the calm nervous system. Listen to your body. If you're feeling stressed or not calm, change something. You can always just lay on your back and give yourself a hug. This pose is almost the same as the reclined knee hug. We'll come address that pose later. But this pose and the reclined knee hug are always options if you're feeling too stressed in a yoga practice. Come back here and find your breath. It's a place we can spend lots of time. Very nice. Enjoy your last breath and moving slow, walking your hands backwards, sitting on your knees, a little counter pose, walking the hands behind you, leaning back, open the chest, maybe lifting the hips a little bit, maybe dropping the head. Feel your chest open, take a big deep breath. Awesome. Moving slow, we'll work our way to our butt. So come back a little bit to the table, send your feet over to one side, sit back down behind your feet in front of you, hands behind you. The feet are wider than your hips, and your knees begin to move from side to side, like windshield wipers. A nice mobility exercise for your hips. See how relaxed you can be. Maybe your knees are coming all the way to the mat. If it feels good, you can even lift your hips a little bit when you come all the way down to a side. Again, these are just options, just suggestions. My goal is really to give you some tools so that you can do these types of movements and things every day, maybe before, maybe after work or a jiu-jitsu class, helping to keep the body feeling good. Nice, one last time. And we're gonna go into a wide seated pose, so your feet are wide. I'm gonna turn to face you, but you can stay facing the same direction. Make your feet as wide as feels all right for you. Nothing too intense. As you go wider, the muscles inside of the legs get tighter. So find something where they feel a little bit of a stretch, but they feel good. If legs straight is too much, try bending your knees a little bit. That'll keep your lower back and hips a little bit more relaxed. You can let everything relax here, or if it feels good, flexing the feet, pulling the toes back, straightening through the legs. Hands behind your butt is a nice way to feel supported here. You can wiggle your hips a little bit, finding something that feels good. Or if you're really flexible, then you probably know what to do here that feels good for your body. Maybe it's leaning forward, maybe making a connection with your feet and hands, shins and hands. Trying to avoid rounding your back too much. The more you can fold forward with a lifted chest, shoulders drawn back, posture, straight spine, hinging at your hips, the less you're going to torque on your lower back, the more you're going to stretch the back of the legs. But we're going to spend another 5 breaths here, so get nice and semi-comfortable, comfortable enough where you feel some sensations, but you can still relax and breathe into those sensations, maybe making them disappear. If they disappear, go a little bit deeper. If you breathe into those sensations and they intensify, maybe back off a little bit. This is the process we're working on, listening to our body, communicating with the sensations and the breath. In and out through the nose if it's possible. Filling the belly and the chest. An option to lean to one side, take a few breaths. You did one side, a few breaths on the other side. Get rid of any stress, any tension in the face and the neck. Nice job. An option to do some more windshield wipers here, moving slow. I like to connect my hands to the inside of my knees after spending a lot of time here so I can help them to bend. Feet to the mat, hands behind you, knees going side to side, nice and slow. Move with your breath. Option to bring your feet together here for a butterfly, cobbler's pose. Your hands can stay behind you. If you have that blanket available, you're welcome to put it underneath your butt for a little bit of a lift, especially if you have tight hips. If you're balanced here, you're somewhat comfortable, you can work into opening your hips, making a connection with your hands to your feet or ankles, pressing your elbows down into your knees. Or perhaps we just sit up nice and straight. Rounding in the spine here is okay, but it can also pull a lot on the lower back. With this position, you're more advantageous to work on the hips. But explore, if you're familiar with it, do you, make it feel good. Intensity is not a bad thing, but intensity that feels stressful is counterproductive. So intense sensations and breathing into them in a way that you love it, you enjoy it, it feels good. That's cool. When we find that sweet spot in the pose, we think about stillness, not moving. But of course, we're always moving because we're always breathing, not holding our breath. And that movement of the breath can be felt all the way through your body, even into the hands and fingertips, toes and fingertips. Movement of blood and oxygen into the tissues. We often say in yoga, breathing into the areas of sensation, using your mind's eye to pinpoint those areas. And bring that relaxation to them on each exhale, letting go. Really nice, guys. We're gonna work our way onto the back. So moving slow again, using your hands to support your knees, bring them back to center. We'll lower back onto our elbows first, and then slowly coming onto the back. First, bringing the feet closer to the hips. Maybe you can touch your heels with your fingertips as your arms are by your side. Another nice thing is to tuck your shoulder blades underneath you a little bit more. And then pressing your feet into the mat, lifting your hips up into the air. Maybe even feeling that opening coming into your chest. Let it go, hips back down. A couple more times on your own, moving with your breath. Inhale, bridge. Maybe even lifting your toes, spreading your toes. Lift, and then exhale, let it go. Move at your own pace. 2 more times. Nice. Do one more if it feels good. Or when you're ready, pulling your knees towards your chest, maybe a little out towards your armpits. maybe interlacing your fingers and giving yourself a hug, hugging your knees in a way that your lower back maintains a nice solid connection to the mat. The whole spine is connected to the mat. You can lift your chin, tuck your chin, lift your head for a second if it feels good, and then let everything relax. Find that heavy connection, shoulder blades, as you stretch into your legs and hips. Mostly it's gravity doing the work and the connection of your hands. Everything else is attempting to relax. Minimal necessary effort here. Big breaths. Spend as much time as feels good to you here. We're short of time. The half hour is already almost up. I want to offer you a quick option to do one knee hug at a time. So wind removing pose. So straightening one leg, hugging the opposite knee towards your armpit. I invite you to do that as long as it feels good. And then end it with this awesome leg up the wall pose if you have a wall available to you, moving yourself as close to the wall as possible, and then walking your legs up the wall and turn so your butt is facing the wall and your legs are supported. Really relaxed here. Turn your palms to face up, arms by your side. In this final pose, a bit of an inversion, changing the blood flow. People who sit in chairs for work, it's very common that they have blockages, tight hips in general, tight lower back, but also because gravity sends the blood down to the legs and feet, we can get blood clots and all sorts of nasty stuff in our legs. So this legs up the wall pose is another nice counter pose to the average life, inverting the blood flow and also getting a little bit of a stretch in the hamstrings, the big muscles in the back of the legs, which allows the lower back to relax. If it feels good, you can also do a hip opener here by letting your feet fall to the side. Take at least 3 more big breaths. This is your final pose for the class. Enjoy it for as long as you have time for you today. And when you're ready, finish by moving slow into a seated pose where we started the class. Close your eyes, take several deep breaths. Notice any changes in your body, any changes in your breathing, or any changes in just how you feel in general. I really hope that you guys feel better. If you do, please share this with someone else who might want to feel good, make this connection with your body, and use this class as a tool to feel good. For those of us that do jujitsu, we can train hard the next day. For those of us who don't, practice this as many times as is possible for you. Let me know how your body changes, how this practice makes you feel in the comments below. We appreciate it. Links to donate, throw us $5 are below. Until next time, oos guys, namaste.